Welcome back to Hidden Wisdom Academy Biology. Today, we're starting a new topic, fruit anatomy. Have you ever wondered how a flower changes into a fruit after fertilization? In this lecture, we'll learn how that happens, the parts and types of fruits, and how they protect and help in seed dispersal. Don't forget to check out our daily NEET MCQs and PYQs series for quick revision. Take your notes and let's begin this colorful journey into the world of fruits. As always, in this slide you can see the syllabus and PYQ topics with their years, so you know what to expect in your exams. Now, let's look at the structure of a fruit. A fruit develops from the ovary after fertilization and has seeds that come from ovules. The ovary wall becomes the pericarp, which has three layers: epicarp, the outer skin; mesocarp, the soft and fleshy part; and endocarp, the inner hard or papery layer. For example, in mango, the peel is the epicarp, the fleshy part we eat is the mesocarp, and the hard stone around the seed is the endocarp. This basic structure is found in all types of fruits. Let's talk about types of fruits. Fruits are divided into three main types based on how they form. First, simple fruits, they develop from a single ovary of one flower, like mango and pea. Second, aggregate fruits, they come from many ovaries of a single flower, like strawberry and raspberry. And third, multiple fruits, they develop from a group of flowers, called an inflorescence, like pineapple and mulberry. Remember it this way: single ovary means simple fruit, many ovaries mean aggregate fruit, and many flowers mean multiple fruit. Now, let's learn the difference between true and false fruits. A true fruit develops only from the ovary of a flower, like mango, pea, and mustard. No other parts are involved. A false fruit, or accessory fruit, develops from the ovary and other flower parts like the receptacle, calyx, or petals, for example apple, strawberry, and cashew. Remember this tip: true fruit comes from the ovary alone, false fruit involves other flower parts too. Now, let's look at function of fruits. Fruits are not just tasty, they have important roles in plants. First, they protect seeds from damage, pests, and diseases. Second, they help in seed dispersal, by wind, water, animals, or even by exploding. For example, mangoes use animals, coconuts use water, and castor seeds can burst to scatter. Third, some fruits provide nutrition to the seeds while they develop. Finally, fruits are useful to humans and animals as food, vitamins, and minerals. Knowing these functions is important for exams and practical studies. Let's look at the practical observation of fruit. In Fruit Anatomy Practical, start by observing the outer features, the color, size, and texture of the fruit. Then, cut the fruit both across and along its length to see the inside. Find the three layers of the pericarp, epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp, and see where the seeds are attached. Finally, identify the type of fruit: simple, aggregate, or multiple. For example, mango is a simple drupe, custard apple is an aggregate fruit, and pineapple is a multiple fruit. Let's practice few questions to test your knowledge. Let's start with question 1. Which of the following pairs of fruits is correctly matched with its type? Option A: mango, aggregate fruit. Option B: apple, multiple fruit. Option C: pineapple, multiple fruit. Option D: strawberry, simple fruit. Explanation: Option A: mango. It's a simple fruit because it comes from a single ovary of one flower. Option B: apple. It's a false fruit since it develops from the thalamus, not from many flowers. Option C: pineapple. A multiple fruit forms from an inflorescence, meaning many flowers whose ovaries fuse to make one big fruit. Pineapple is the correct example of a multiple fruit. Option D: strawberry. It's an aggregate fruit, formed from one flower with many free carpels, each making a small fruitlet. So, option C is the correct answer, that is, pineapple is an example of multiple fruit. Now, let's move to question 2. Assertion A. In a true fruit, the ovary wall develops into the pericarp. Reason R. In false fruits, parts other than the ovary also contribute to fruit formation. Option A. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Option B. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Option C. A is true, but R is false. Option D. A is false, but R is true. Explanation. The assertion says in a true fruit, the ovary wall develops into the pericarp. That's correct. The reason says in false fruits, parts other than the ovary also contribute to fruit formation. That's also true, and it correctly explains the assertion. For example, in apple, the thalamus develops into the edible part, making it a false fruit. So, option A is the correct answer, that is both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Let's see some common mistakes students often make while studying fruit anatomy. First, confusing true and false fruits. Remember, true fruits come only from the ovary, while false fruits involve other flower parts. Second, mixing up fruit types. For example, strawberry is an aggregate fruit, not a multiple fruit. Third, ignoring seed arrangement. Always check if seeds are single or many, and how they are attached. Fourth, forgetting the pericarp layers, epicarp, mesocarp, and endocarp must be observed in practicals. Fifth, mistakes during practicals, cutting fruits the wrong way, missing details in diagrams, or mislabeling. Finally, don't just memorize names, understand how the fruit develops for better retention and exam preparation. That's all for today's lecture on fruit anatomy. We learned about structure, types, functions, practical tips, and practice questions. In the next lecture, we'll start plant family anatomy, focusing on Malvaceae and Cruciferae. We'll study their roots, stems, leaves, and flowers, and point out important features for exams. Make sure your fruit anatomy concepts are clear, because the next topic builds on them. Also, don't miss our biology podcast for daily revision. See you in the next lecture.